Try to add a little drama there. That one wasn't bad. You should have seen me yesterday when I nosedived. We're privileged to have with us this morning Brian Poe from Escanaba. I knew I was going to mess that up. Escanaba Church of Christ in Michigan. Brian has been working with the India Mission Group for, I don't even know how long. It's been quite a while. 2018. He had worked with Royce Frederick. How could I forget? I seem to have some connection to that work. But Brian is our chosen person right now to actually take over the India work as far as coordinating collections and supplying the needs of our brothers and sisters that work in India. He's made several trips over there. He went over there with Royce and got introduced to everyone. And now has been on an annual basis going back. And as Royce did on his short trips especially, they try to go in January. That's the mildest season, not too cold and not too hot during that time. And trying to stay away from, I think, the storms that come over there. As we have experienced a lot in the United States in the last few years, the storms over there are just totally devastating because there's so many people live in lower grounds and really a tremendous burden to them. It's actually one of our church buildings over there washed away right by a large river, and most of us have seen pictures of that where the waters came and just kept lapping and finally moved up and just took the whole building out. It's a rough situation to work in over there, but they have a lot of rejoicing to be thankful for too, because they're doing baptisms every day. It's just amazing how they're able to persevere in the circumstances that they face. So Brian is here today to give us a report from his last trip and bring us up to date, more up to date than we may have been otherwise. So Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Amen. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be back. I know some of you, a lot of you have seen me before. Let's see, where do I start here? Flip my Bible the right side up, get my notes out. It's a lot of noise. I hear myself, I'm not used to that. I am a preacher of the Escanaba. I thought you were joking at first, James. Escanaba Church of Christ. It is one of the two, really, churches up in the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And it's a little, on a normal Sunday, probably 40 people. That's our Sundays. So we don't even really need a mic there. We just use a mic because we Zoom our meetings. Otherwise, we don't even need a mic at our congregation. So let's see where I start here. Just kind of get back to the basics. It began in 2017, when I reached out to Royce. Didn't know who he was, didn't know who you were. And most of our congregation didn't even know really what the Indian mission was all about. You know, one of those missions that we still send the check, but no one knows what's going on. So I started talking to Royce, and before I knew it, I was booking a ticket, and I met him at the Harrisons in India in 2018. So that's where it all started, and that's me and Royce, and then Royce and T. Daniel. And no, he did not introduce me to everybody. I looked at his directory. He sent me the Excel directory. He made a lot of connections in India. He introduced me to a fraction of them. There's more people than I probably can ever meet that he met and worked with. So when Hudson and I, let's see, I will show you Hudson in just a second. We went this earlier part of the year, January, February, and we went with a theme because the primary part of the mission is preaching and teaching, working with the churches and so on. And the message we took, we actually went with a theme of grace this year. So most of our messages ended up being with grace and something about grace, and not to confuse it with, oh, it's just grace, God loves everybody. Well, no, the true message of grace and what God offers, what saves us, and a lot of beautiful messages came through that. So this year, the fellow workers, Hudson, that's Hudson on the left, and Hudson is a young man. Actually, Hudson came. You met Hudson last year, and real good young man, awesome young man. He loved going to India. He still does, although this last trip, I don't know if you heard, but we're flying to India, and we land in Hyderabad, our first stop. Like, we actually, not even a stop, it's a layover. We're going to get on the plane and fly to Rajahmundry. And Hudson starts to throw up. He's low energy and starting to throw up. It's like, oh, this isn't good. It wasn't India food. I know that's the first thing. What did he drink? Or it wasn't India food. Maybe it's plain food. I love plain food. Whenever on the international flights, they start bringing the food out. Okay, oh, I can't wait. I don't know. Most people don't agree with me, though. But he starts to throw up, and okay, we threw up, but maybe that's the end of it. Okay, start feeling better from there. Well, he didn't. And next couple of days, he's just low energy, and I'm thinking, man, I know he's 22, 23, but maybe, is he just kind of being lazy? I don't know. I mean, I'm not at the age anymore where I'm just, whatever, I'm here and I'm bored. I'm not there anymore. But is he there? It's not the character I know of Hudson. So we go another couple days, and then we eventually meet up with Udam, which is a doctor background, and he kind of gets him some things to try, and he's just not getting any better. And we get back, so he lays low. 90% of the places I visited, he stayed back at the hotel. And then the only places he visited and spoke were the ones that we had to stop because we were stopping at a speaking engagement on the way to the airport or something. Otherwise, he stayed back at the hotel and just slept and hardly could eat anything. Get back home, and his parents meet us on the road, and they take him to the hospital. They check him in, and I forgot what the numbers were, but the blood pressure, anyone over 40 would not have survived it. It was so low. It was scary low. Find out, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this to the world, but he's diagnosed with Addison's, which was something that they stretched back into something he's had for years, but they just found out through this episode of the stress and the planning of going to India. He got help. He's got the medication, and now he's living a normal life, and he'll be able to go back. But he does want to take a little break. So, as I will tell you later, he will not be going on our 2026 trip. He wants to take a year off because the first trip he got home and he was in the hospital for a week with COVID. And then he gets home this trip, he's in the hospital for at least a week, undiagnosed, and finding out it's Addison's. So his family and him have a couple negative connections, to their India visits. So he's going to take a year off, and he's getting married next month too. So I guess that has something to do with it. His wife has to tell him yes now. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, Hudson, he does love the work, and I just talked to him just a few days ago, and he wants to stay connected with it and help raise funds and go on little campaigns and talking to different churches, but he's just going to take a year off. And there's me with T. Daniel. All right, I got to get going here. Let's see, the mission, this past trip, we spent 12 days in India, actually on the ground. I know for what Royce did in times past, what Rick Johnson has done, that's nothing. It's like 12 days, did you even get to do anything? Well, we do, but I should have put a picture of my family up there. I'm sorry. I have my wife and my 2 boys who are now 9 and 10. So I have, I don't want to be gone that long. So 12 days away from the U.S., 16 days off U.S. soil is, at this time, the max I would do. And that kind of spurs back to, I went to school at Heritage. One of my professors was a missionary boy in a mission family, and now he is a missionary with kids himself. And I asked him, seeking counsel from the wise, what's a mission trip to have a family? And he said, what I do is 16 days, 18 if you have to, and any given trip, and I only take 2 trips a year. And so that's what I run with. That's my missionology. I go away only for 16 days at a time, and that gives me room if there's air, maybe 17 or 18 days. So that's why I only go for 12 days on the ground. That's 12 days ministry, 30 speaking opportunities. So we pack it full, okay? We land and we have meetings scheduled that day. And this past year, a little more than 1,750 people, so about 1,800 people cumulative heard the gospel. 41 baptized, there on the ground. We're there watching them get baptized. And a lot more that were scheduled to be baptized, or at least planning to be baptized. And that's not what I'm saying, this summer we're going to be baptized and summer, not like that. But one of the places we went to in Sirkakulam, in the north, we have to be careful with the government. And in this particular place, one of the village leaders was there, which he was very sympathetic of what we were doing, and no issues with the gospel message, no issues. But when it came time for a good number of the villagers wanted to be baptized, they felt more comfortable waiting later in the day for the group to disperse. And so they were going to get baptized, but they just had to do it smart, because they didn't want to burn any bridges. They didn't want to push this village leader too far to where he would close the doors. Because this is what Sidgunarao and Udam, and wonderful place we want to visit again. We don't want to burn any bridges. So they were going to wait till the meeting dispersed and go baptize them later, that's perfectly fine. And countless seed planted in hearts. I'll tell you with what we do later. Let's meet a few people. Some of you people, you know, some you don't. This is Ricky Goodham in Kakanata. That's where we started our ministry. Me and Ricky Goodham on the right. This is a Lads to Leaders group, and they say, I didn't count them, but they say about 600 people were at this meeting. So the street was blocked off and tented and just people. Awesome way to start. Obviously, Hudson's not there because we landed and they take him to the hotel. They take me to the meeting because he was, day one, he was doing bad. So Ricky Goodham, this is actually an older picture, but they still do this work. They do a lot of sending out correspondence to a lot of people. I don't know the numbers, but a lot of people in India, and they send out Bibles and correspondence and a lot of literature to help people grow and become Christians. Wonderful work, and that's Ricky Goodham's mom and dad, Joshua and, sorry? Habitat. Wow, I never had a hard time hearing it before. Habitat. Yes. It's an Area name. And it's a little more difficult than the names I'm used to knowing. And I try to be good with names, but like I told some of you here, I know I met you before. I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but I come across a lot of people, and I try my best. I really do. All right, so there's me a couple years ago in the bottom right picture, just admiring that they do a lot of awesome work there. And here is the Flemings. The Flemings is one of the families I work with a little more closely. And when I went in 2018 with Royce, we started off in Chennai, so I met Jalam and a few other people. And when we got up to Rajamundry, he told me, I think you're going to like the Flemings. And I don't know if it was just power of persuasion or he planted the seed there, but I really love the Flemings. And there in the right is me and I know the name. Don't. Well, Christopher Fleming is the dad, and then you have. I can't believe I'm just getting. What's? You gotta help me out here. I can't believe I lost the name. But like I said, I'm bad with names. I'll get it as soon as I go to the next slide. But the family, there's a whole family there, and his wife's name is Sarah La, and. I cannot believe I don't know his name. I'm bothered by that because he's one of my main guys. But it's the stage stuff, you know. Even though I've been preaching for 10 years, sometimes I get nervous. Anyways, Christopher Fleming's the dad. Well, this is, wow. I don't like not remembering his name. Anyways, this is some of the work he does through the year. He tirelessly works through the year, doing hard work. Now, let me see. Okay, yes. So earlier this year, Hudson and I, last year, Hudson and I, we talked with them and asked, what do you need? Well, they've been renting a house for many years. And continually, even since I've been on board, had moved a couple times because you rent a home from a Hindu person and they tolerate you so long, but then they kind of get a little nervous, or how is this going to impact me having a Christian family living in it? So it gets old and they ask them to move. So they've had to move into a few different houses. Well, Hudson and I had this idea to help raise money to build a home. And we actually reached out. You guys helped. We had got help from a lot of different people. I think we sent just short of $8,000. You're thinking $8,000, what can that build here? Well, there it built that house. In the upper left picture, you have the building right to the right with the stairway. That is the church building there. And this is Kenai Poly. And then you see the markings on the ground. This was the plot where they were going to put their house. They already had that land. I asked about why not go on top, because their buildings there mostly are flat roofed, and a lot of people just build up. But because they said that the government, a little hard pressed on, they probably won't get permission to build up, which would have been better. So we provided money, and they built this home. And let's see, I think I have, nope, that's Gunarel. So they built this home, and they really know how to put some flair to it. But it's just a simple home. You got a kitchen and a dining room and 2 bedrooms, you know. And that nice tall little tower on the left, that's the stairwell going up to the upper roof. But about $8,000, which is not a lot. We asked them to keep it simple. We just want to get you in your home, and then, you know, we'll work on the bells and whistles later. So they kept it simple. And they have their home now, and they, just about a couple months ago, they finally moved in. When we went there, that's when we got this last picture, and they had not moved in yet. They're still waiting on trying to get the electrical and some finessing some small details. So thank you for helping with our little vision. I know Royce, he built a lot of buildings without walls and a lot of buildings. Well, this was a big thing for us. We never done anything this big. And it was a lot of work. We probably won't do it again too soon. It's a lot of work, but we love helping them. All right, so that's the Flemings. And this is Sadgunarao and Udam up in Sakakulam. The first 3 trips I've made, Sadgunarao, he's in all 3 pictures. He's the one doing the baptizing. And wonderful guy. I know that he was very special to Royce, and for good reasons, because Sadgunarao, if you ever watched him baptize people, he's just so fluent and so beautiful. It's like, and he baptizes and he's just singing, and it's like, Oh, it's a wonderful experience to watch him baptize people. And he has just a wonderful spirit about him. And he would come down to where I was in the Rajamundry area, and he would translate or come meet me. Well, the last 2 trips I've taken, I've been able to go up to Srikakulam and visit him and work with them. And this is actually at their place, some baptisms that they did. Actually, the one on the left is their place. The 2 pictures on the right is a different congregation that they work with, and he did the baptisms there as well, which is very neat because you go down, 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 and basically the lower area, and then you have this hole which is cemented and it's got water in it. And that was their baptistry, which is awesome. I love these pictures right here because that's the same person, and this is Udam, Sid Gunrao's son, helps in the ministry and baptizes, and you see them pull the young lady up out of the water. So it's just a beautiful thing. A lot of baptisms. They do a great work up in Srikakulam amidst the persecution. Probably get more persecution than most of the southern people, I would assume, because they do it working up in Oria. And I think I told you, because I've been here since my first trip with Hudson, because Royce told me, Brian, don't go up into Odisha. Don't go up into Odisha. That's bad territory. Stay down in Andhra Pradesh and stay in Tamil Nadu. And so, okay, no problem, because I want to come back to my family. Every trip, I go for 16 days and I will come back to my family. Well, we meet up, not this last trip, but the trip before, with Sid Gunrao and Udam. The Gudams meet us halfway and we drive up to their place. In the morning, we're going to go to a village. Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Exciting. Well, we get in the car the next morning and we're driving north for a while. And I know my geography a little bit. I know north of Srikakulam, you only can go so far before you enter Odisha. And it's like, so where are we going today? And we're going into Odisha. We're actually in Odisha. It's like, my red flags raised immediately. It's like, I trust wisdom. And just like I went to one of my professors who was a missionary and I asked him, what's some good parameters? I trust Royce. He did this a few times. And we're in Odisha, where Royce told me not to go. And I was really nervous. And I was like, so trying to ask questions without sounding like I don't trust them. But I don't really know them either. This is my first time really working with these 2, Sid Gunrao and Udam. So, Royce told me not to go up there, And they mentioned that they're going into the mountain area of Odisha, and there's no government up there, so the persecution is not there. And they were right. We trusted them. We were nervous. Hudson and I were making some jokes, about, at least I can run faster than you, And I jokingly tell people that's my main motto of who I take to India with. I got to run faster than you. So if you're 23 years old, we'll go out to the yard and we'll have a running contest. And if I can run faster than you, you can go with me. It's a joke, obviously, but it was a wonderful, wonderful time up in the tribal villages of Odisha. And we went this past trip as well. I particularly asked, hey, can we go back up there? And it was wonderful, again. And that was where the tribal leader was there, and they wanted to wait till later that day when the meeting dispersed, and that was perfectly fine. All right. We have T. Daniel. T. Daniel is a real prominent hard worker. I know Mineral Wells, personally, they support T. Daniel. And I know Royce worked with T. Daniel since he was born. T. Daniel was named, I think Royce gave him the name, right? Yeah. So, lifelong, trusted young man, well, my age, a young man. And every time we go, we spend a few days with T. Daniel. He takes us to different places and also to his church on Sri Lanka. And the picture on the right is actually a bunch of kids on a tarp just outside of the church building in Sri Lanka. Wonderful, wonderful little event, and just spoke to the kids. And on the left, some pictures that T. Daniel sent of him baptizing people, because they do this work through the year, work tirelessly. I mean, I'm put to shame. It's like, wow, they had did this last week, and what did I do this last week? But they work so hard, and I think that's why we are so glad to be a part of the work that they do. T. Daniel, and then we have Jalam. Jalam is down in Modern Pakum, down in Chennai, another one of Royce's close companions. And Jalam, his sons, I think I got his sons here, yeah. Up on top you have Vincent, and then bottom, the right you have Stalin, and then on the left you have Jalam. And one of the elders there, actually, that particular elder, I think it was that guy, when I was in India, 2018, with Royce, we actually were there when that elder was appointed. So, good guy, good family. They do a wonderful work there. And Jalam also is just a good-spirited, gentle man. And which kind of gives me the idea, these guys that were very close with Royce, so I can tell why. They were just good-natured. Because there's a lot of people in India that are very kind of, coarse or, a little harder. But Jalam and Sadhgunarao, just some good spirits. And then his sons, Vincent and Stalin, good guys and their families, real good guys. We always enjoy spending that time with them. And each trip I go there, I try to get like a lunch or dinner with his sons. So they come to the hotel, or we meet at a restaurant or Pizza Hut. I try to find a Pizza Hut or Domino's. Try to get my American pizza in there. But each time I go there, me and the sons, Stalin and Vincent, we have dinner or lunch together. Or as you say, supper, that's right. Or dinner, and I don't know. For me in the north, it's lunch and little segue. And dinner and supper are the same thing, okay, in the north. I know you guys have a different. All right, what do we do? That's just a few of the pictures give just a little bit of a idea. But we visit congregations and we encourage preachers. Many congregation meetings we visit. Many congregations, Sunday, during the week, every day, they'll put a meeting up every day, preachers' meetings. We conduct several preachers' meetings in Modern Pakum, Rajamundry. We did one up in Srikakulam. And the preachers come, Church of Christ preachers, denominational preachers. And so we when I do that, I try to have a variety of lessons I give. One, like a homiletical. So let's talk about how to speak. And hermeneutical, let's talk about how to interpret and how to relay the Bible message, the gospel. I also am careful to include the gospel message to these preachers. Like, these are preachers. Well, I'm helping these preachers have a fresh material to take back to their congregations. But also there's denominational preachers here too. So they are hearing this gospel message with the Bible open, and this is how people are becoming Christians. So it's a twofold, and we work with a lot of preachers. We visit orphanages and teach students. Each year, T. Daniel is very careful to get us into schools and orphanages, and we're able to tell stories like the prodigal son and the Good Samaritan. And the school we went to, he just bring out the moral value. So that's perfect. I mean, really, that's what we're supposed to be doing anyways, pulling out the practical moral value, what it means in an everyday living. And by doing that, we were able to preach these simple Bible messages to the school. And wonderful, wonderful. We visit a few widows' homes. It's actually a very common ministry for churches to have, a widows' ministry associated with the church, because widows, that's a way that they can be provided for, and they teach them skills, sewing skills, and different skills that they can help provide money for their home, for their families. So wonderful widows ministry in most places. Leper colonies are a big thing. We visited several leper colonies. And funny story, and I kind of felt like I was lacking faith, but I was like, you know what? The Lord can deal with me later when I'm in heaven. But a few years ago when I first went, It was my trip with Peter Morphy, my third trip, 2020. We visited a leper colony, and T. Daniel was like, I was a little nervous because I think that was the first time I visited a leper colony. It's like, oh, here in America, you hear leper, it's like, oh my, and I had that scary perception of a leper colony. And T. Daniel said, that's fine, we're going to be kind of just downwind and just, we'll stay distance, like me, you guys with lepers, we stay at a distance, we're not going to be shaking hands, and so on and so forth. Well, I won't put any names out there, but this past year, we visited this place, and this person's like, we have a leper colony, and like, yeah, that's fine, they're vaccinated, and you can shake their hands and all that, we pray for them, and I'm like, I am a person of faith, I try to practice faith. I know that the Lord will protect me. I know that as long as I do wise things, that's kind of my thing. As long as we are in a wise place, I know God will take care of me. Well, I had a little red flag with just shaking hands, and I don't know what Royce did, but I just, I didn't have that experience, and I would rather an American have guided me first. But one of the Indians said, yeah, just shake their hands, and I was a little nervous. And I told them, well, I would feel more comfortable if we didn't. I felt so lacking faith, but I didn't shake their hands. I didn't touch them, even though he said I could. And, I think that was okay. I came home safe. I came home healthy, and I poured out the love I could to them without making physical contact. And I don't know. Anyways, leper colonies, it's wonderful visiting them because the little we give to them, it's like you gave them $1 million. All we did is handed out blankets, we handed out drinks, and we prayed with them, spoke some kind words to them, and that's the world to them. And it's amazing, the lower you are, the more special the gospel message and gifts like that are. And that's the truth right there, because we see that message in the Bible as well. People getting distracted by all the non-necessities of life, and so much that they don't need anything. Well, you go to a leper colony, they're sponges for whatever you say and whatever you give. We distribute several hundred Bibles. Whenever I'm preparing to go, I talked with T. Daniel, I talked with different ones, and what do I need to bring? And he always gives me this number that I can't afford that. More Bibles than we ever can afford, but we give them what we can. And they get the Bibles locally there. They print them locally, and they have them there ready at the preachers' meetings to distribute to the preachers there. We distribute several hundred Bibles every trip we go. And we conduct a few preachers' meetings. Yep, there you go. There's my typo. That is the things we do. Let's see what the next slide is. Future work. The plan is to return in January of 2026. At this point, Hudson is planning to take a year off. As I mentioned, he just needs a little break, getting married, and it just had a few rough first 2 trips. And I have no concrete plans for 2026 companion yet, but I do know my wife is a lot happier when I go with someone else. And plans and fundraising will begin probably in August usually. And even sometimes in August, they're like, Brian, it's so far away. We don't need to be planning that stuff yet, but I like to. So that's kind of where we are. Sorry, I've been talking for about half hour. Any questions or things I can answer? So again, kind of taking just a part of the torch, of the work that Royce has spent so many years building, and trying to, in my little way, with my little days I spend and the little resources I have, just trying to keep encouraging those guys who are doing amazing work over there. And West Freeway has continued to, we work together, and we're just kind of side by side, and just, I know you guys have sent money to help with the trips when we get ready to go, and sometimes there's a need. You help build a home for the Flemings there, and so I thank you for the partnership, and together we can just continue to minister in this very gospel-deprived land in India. A lot of seed planted, a lot of work is being done, a lot of good guys over there preaching hard the gospel. So as has always been, at least for my time, my 5 trips I've taken, I'm not bushwhacking and going into, uncharted territories. We're going into areas that these awesome guys that are there are working tirelessly every day. And when we go and encourage that work that they already are doing. And we try to support them financially. We support them. I send lessons to different ones. They say, hey, do you have any lessons? And I send lessons to help them strengthen their ministries. And awesome work being done that we are a part of. Any questions? Anyone want to go 2026? I have a couple ideas of I have a couple prospects I'm working on. But it won't be Hudson. Peter loved going, but Peter can't take the flight. It's too hard on him. But the Royal Oak stays connected as well. Yes, Susie.
Did you get to visit with Seguna's wife before she passed?
Yes, we did. And Sid Gunarau's wife, his wife was very sick. She was bedbound. And I don't think it was much longer after that she passed away. Maybe within a month after he got back, was it? But Sid Gunarau up in Srikakulam, and I was able to sit next to her, and we prayed with her, and then we let her rest. But about a month later, give or take, she passed away. Yeah.
The thing impressive about Segunarow is the fact that he didn't slow down during that time.
No.
And as soon as she passed, he was right back on the road again.
Those guys are mission oriented. They know what they're there for. Yeah.
And he doesn't just hold a meeting once a month or once a year. He's about one a day, like it appears at times.
They're very busy. Very busy. Yeah, Sid Gunarau and Udam, they stay very busy. Any questions? Oh, that's right. I send out, I'm not real faithful at it, but I send out on occasion a newsletter that just some of the things we're doing, some plans we have, and just allowing people to stay connected to the work. And I don't know if anything gets sent out for the work here, but if anyone wants to, it's just an email. If anyone wants to be on receiving those newsletters, let me know, and I can get you on the email list, and just you can stay connected on what we're doing. And like I said, I work closely with Susie and you guys, so we're kind of working on the same work. We also have our small little things we do on our own, but we do a lot of work together. And actually, the work I do wouldn't be possible without, it wouldn't have gotten started without West Freeway. And for the most part, it wouldn't be continued if it wasn't for West Freeway, doing a lot of the funding, because up in Escanaba with a 40-member church, you only get so many funds. So it's nice to have. Yes?
What kind of email y'all send out?
I do Gmail. My email is PSA625. Easy way to remember is Psalm 6225. That's been my email since college.
I send it to my house, send it to my house.
Okay. And what I'll do is that the email that gets sent out is actually not from my email. It's Hope for India, and that will be the email that you'll be receiving, and just a newsletter PDF. So if you do want that, I know we're going to be wrapping up here. You can contact someone here, Susie or someone, and we'll get you on the email list. So I know a lot of you don't know how to contact me after I leave, and that's fine. Just reach out to Susie or James. Yeah, probably James, Susie or James. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you for the time, and thank you. I'm so glad to continue to work with West Freeway. It is a wonderful work we do, and whenever the Lord opens the door, I'll come back and talk with you again. Thank you. God bless.